Dear audience, I would like to take the opportunity to thank everyone who listened to my podcast. In last few weeks, I had over 300 plays, and I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who is following and listening to my podcast and episodes. In this episode, I'll focus on something we're all seeking in life: joy and happiness. But why happiness has become a mirage in the modern world? Before we seek joy and happiness, we need to understand the difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is an emotion in which one experiences many feelings ranging from contentment, satisfaction to bliss and intense pleasure, whereas joy is a stronger, less common feeling than happiness. Joy is a long-lasting state of being, whereas happiness can be short-lived. Joy is something grander than happiness. Joy comes from our heart, and it is possible to experience joy in difficult times. Joy can share space with other emotions like sadness, fear, anger, even unhappiness. But happiness cannot share space with other emotions. Joy can be present where difficulties exist, but happiness cannot live in this space. Joy and sorrow go hand in hand. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. They are inseparable. The deeper that sorrow is carved into your being, the more joy you can contain. The early Greek philosophers believed that joy, happiness was a mental state all humans desired. However, happiness was achieved only by living with wisdom, justice, and courage. Seeking hedonistic pleasure was not true happiness. Epicurus, Greek philosopher, explained about happiness, and he divided this into three categories. Number 1, natural and necessary, is our friends, food, freedom, shelter, clothes, thought. Number 2, natural but unnecessary: grand house, private baths, servants, and expensive lifestyle. Number 3, neither natural nor necessary: fame and power. I came across 3 books about Lagom, Higi, and Ikigai. I always wondered why Japan and the Nordic countries rank among the top 10 happiest nations in the world. And these 3 books have helped me to understand that. They gave me clarity on important elements of Japanese and Nordic culture that flow as an undercurrent to their modern societies and contribute to their happiness ranking. Lagom, a Swedish secret of living well, means in moderation. Where there is modesty, there is a virtue. Better be silent than speak ill. Overpraise is a burden. Listen more and speak less. What we feel we want may be a thin veil over what we really need, and so fully understanding to those basic needs may well satisfy our wants and push us closer to contentment. In business, Lagom chooses logic over emotion, practicality over vision, action over promise. Our actions and the words we speak to be binding long before we physically sign any contracts. We're all fundamentally equal and should be treated that way, regardless of our society, titles, or cultural standings. One who proves too much proves nothing. No letters are good letters. Empty barrels rattle the most. Negotiate from a place of empathy for both sides. Lagom is a luxury of thought that thrives against a backdrop where our basic needs are met. It sharpens our curiosity and consciousness. What can I do to feel content and balanced today? Hygge, the Danish art of living well, is a quality of presence and an experience of togetherness, belonging to the moment. Hygge entails a commitment to the present moment and a readiness to set distractions aside. Hygge isn't about a life without technology, but it asks us to balance our commitments and remember the value of human interaction, conversation, and physical intimacy. Ikigai, Japanese understanding of the purpose of life. Iki means to live, and gai means reason. The 5 pillars of Ikigai: starting small, releasing yourself, harmony and sustainability, joy of little things, being in the here and now. Ikigai is an adaptation to the situation, no matter what the nature of that situation might be. Ikigai and happiness come from the acceptance of the self, no matter what kind of unique features one might happen to be born with. Regardless of ancient wisdom or modern philosophy, joy is present in the moment and every moment. Happiness is temporary and it's mostly passing through emotion. Joy is an inner feeling and endures hardships and connects with meaning and purpose. Joy is constant, while happiness is temporary. Joy is about selflessness, while happiness involves pleasing oneself. Joy can be deeply spiritual, while happiness lacks deep connection. Joy is meaningful, while happiness feels good. Joy is a choice a person makes, while people chase after happiness. Joy is genuine connection with each other, while happiness consists of momentary connections. Joy is self-transformative, while happiness can hold you back. Joy is a less common, stronger feeling than happiness. So, if you are chasing for happiness, know that you will never be happy. Chasing happiness is like going after a mirage. Happiness is a mirage. The more you seek it, the further away it gets. I would like to share a story of chasing the mirage of happiness. A traveler was on foot on a hot day. After a while, he became overcome by thirst and began following the mirage up ahead as if it was real. Quite by chance, his pursuit led him to a genuine riverbank flowing with fresh water. By this point, he is more thirsty than ever, but without taking a single sip, he just stood there looking at the river. A bystander noticed the traveler on the riverbank and said, "You look incredibly thirsty, and yet you're standing here without taking a drink." The traveler replied, "I am so thirsty. But look at that river ahead. There is far too much water in there. How could I possibly finish it all?" The traveler became aware of a growing thirst within. His eyes locked on and chased the mirage of river up ahead. He followed his belief in the truth of this image. It looked real, and he dedicated his journey to reaching it. It contained a promise: water, relief, satisfaction, refreshment. Mirages are always just a little further up the road. Looks like happiness, success, and that wholeness might shimmer like reachable and real places on the path ahead. Many of us lock eyes on them, and society often makes us to believe and chase these kinds of mirages. But when we get to where we thought we saw them, we usually find an empty space. The shimmering mirage or image is still on the horizon, out of reach. Not because it is out of reach, but because it's not there at all. It's an illusion, a trick of the mind. In the story, the traveler had a stroke of luck and stumbles on a source of very thing he thought was pursuing, which is the happiness. Yet, we look for more and the pursuit never ends. We create our own impossible mirages, just like the thirsty traveler while chasing happiness. So happiness is just like following and chasing a mirage. Seek for joy and not just happiness. Happiness is important, but if you're seeking for joy, that can be attained and stay forever, regardless of life challenges. Thank you for listening to my podcast, Conscious Living. Experience the joy within you. Please check out my book, The True Self. Unlock the chaos in you. It is a timeless journey of teachings from across history and all cultures. A personal journey through universal wisdom. The book is available on Amazon in majority of the countries across the globe. Please subscribe to my podcast, Conscious Living, at Spotify for my next episode. Take care of yourself.